This assessment that was created in January of 2017 at the direction of President Obama literally manufactured intelligence, knowingly put down falsehoods in order to reach this assessment conclusion that I stated, that Putin and Russia aspired to help Donald Trump win the election when it was blatantly false.
That's the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, dropping a pretty big bombshell on the record with Greta Van Susteren, which is, of course, here on Newsmax Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. So former President Barack Obama now finds himself at the heart of a Department of Justice investigation on claims that he and his top officials were behind the effort to stage basically a phony Russia-connected coup against President Trump shortly after the 2016 election. Let's bring in Newsmax legal analyst and former U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Alabama, Jay Town. Jay, so the Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote that, quote, like Trump, Obama has immunity from criminal prosecution based on the Supreme Court decision. Trump kind of said the same the other day. We'll see. But you got some GOP senators calling for a special counsel to look into Obama. I mean, these special counsels and prosecutors are the worst. But what are the legal obstacles in investigating and maybe even prosecuting a former president? How does this whole immunity play out?
Well, certainly anything that Barack Obama did after January 20th of 2017 he's not immune from those behaviors. And that includes covering up any sort of conspiracy he might have had with members of the intelligence community, John Brennan, James Comey, Jim Clapper. All of those individuals have sort of perpetuated all the way up really until they said that the Hunter laptop was all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. Brennan testified in 2023 before the House Judiciary Committee about the Russian collusion hoax in the Steele dossier. So every time there's a lie told to protect the conspiracy, that tolls the statute of limitations for everyone. So it will be interesting. The reason why I support a special counsel, and I know they're wildly unpopular. And look, Rob Hur and John Durham are friends of mine. I served with them in the Trump 45 administration as United States attorneys. I think Rob did a great service. I think John Durham was stymied by the intelligence community under the Biden administration that would not declassify information like Tulsi Gabbard has given us in the transparency, most transparent administration in my lifetime of 51 years. So whether it's the strike force that DOJ has formed that is looking into possible predication of investigation and charges, or whether you have a special counsel do it, it matters not to me. I just want to make sure that whoever's looking into this, even if we can't prosecute, I think the American people need to know every single thing that happened, every step along the way, because this can't happen again. We can't have law enforcement and the intelligence community weaponized against an incoming president, no matter what party you're in. That's not what this country is about, but that's what Obama appears to be about, and that's in there with Hillary and Brennan and Comey and others. It's going to be very interesting to see what the actual truth is here. It really looks damning, especially for Brennan.
No, very, very true. And, you know, we should remind folks what these characters have been saying over the years about the Russia hoax. So let's play that for folks.
It wasn't China. It wasn't the 400-pound guy in his bed in New Jersey. It was Russia.
There should be no fuzz on this whatsoever. The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle.
I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign.
So, Jay, does it make more sense to go after those guys? They don't have immunity, right? Does it, or would they in some way? But does it make more sense to go after them?
Well, I think General Bondi just needs to go where the facts take her. They can worry about defenses like the statute of limitations, like immunity or anything else. They can worry about that later once they've predicated the crimes before they actually unseal or bring an indictment. That last clip you played of Brennan, that's from May of 2017. In that, and I think it was with House Judiciary or Senate Judiciary, his testimony there, he said that he did not rely on the Steele dossier whatsoever. It turns out in his intelligence community assessment that was released there in January, turns out that's not true. In fact, he relied on it so much so over the objections of the CIA's own experts on Russia. Now, that 5 years has expired, but what has happened since then to cover up those lies and really, if there is a conspiracy, the conspiracy that took place at the end of 2016, that includes his testimony in May of 2023. So there's a lot to uncover. You have to, we have to have some patience. We have to manage expectations as a nation. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if we can charge someone or not. I would like to know the truth, and I think that that's the sentiment of most of America.
Yeah, most Americans who believe in this country, you're right, the left and the media, they're going to run cover and, call it weaponization of the Trump administration, blah, blah, blah. But you're right. I mean, America needs to know because this definitely cannot happen again, and it will if they let these guys get away with it. The intelligence community writ large, the DOJ is looking at potential alleged weaponizations of the intelligence community. That's pretty wide, right? So how do you go after that, and then what?
Yeah, and it might just be personnel changes. It might be criminal charges. It could be all of the above. And remember, the intelligence community includes the FBI. FBI is the only agency that actually has law enforcement powers and also Title 50 powers as an intelligence agency. But it's not just the CIA and the FBI. It's deep. And it goes to other agencies. And these personnel, they jump around from the FBI to the CIA to NOAA to the NSA, and their careers are government careers as GS-15s or SESs, and so you got to track the person because they attach the agency with them with their nefarious behaviors. So we really have to do a cleansing of personnel. Trump has done a great job of that, and many other agencies. The intelligence community is no different.
So you mentioned tolling before with the statute of limitations. Just explain that real quickly. I mean, that restarts the clock?
Correct. So if there's a conspiracy to commit a crime 5 years ago, right? And then yesterday, before that 5 years was up, one of us in the conspiracy did something to cover. I lied to the police to tell them that didn't happen. That tolls the statute of limitation for another 5 years, and so on and so forth. Now, you have to first predicate the conspiracy and a meeting of the minds and that a crime was occurring then. But certainly any lie to cover up your crimes tolls that statute of limitations for another 5 years from the date of the lie, and the second and the third and the 50th lie. And is that to law enforcement? Is it to the media? Is it op-eds? Is it as simple as penning a letter with 50 other intelligence agents saying it's all the hallmarks of Russian collusion? Those are things and questions that Bondi Strike Force will have to answer before they getting into any position of charging anyone. Including
potential perjury in Congress, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. That's the biggest exposure that I see immediately.
J-Town, good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
All righty.